are para-church ministries or personal ministries, ministries that aren't technically from your local church, like Sunday school, bus ministry, music ministry, anything that you're doing on a personal level outside the church. Are those okay? Are those scriptural? So it's a good question. That's actually something that my husband and we had to wrestle with scripturally to find out some truth when we first started Truth in Song. He started writing books, and I started creating CDs, and we have our own website. And then we thought, wait, hold on, I feel like in the history of my mind there's something about this word para-church, meaning it's a ministry that isn't technically the church ministries. And is that wrong? So my husband always says, well, what does scripture say about it? And you don't really see scripture saying much about like established this is the church ministry and we're only allowed to have church ministries, but you do see people ministering. And the widow woman, Dorcas, I know her name, Acts 9:36-43, she died, and people were showing all of the coats that she had made for children and people. She had that ministry. It was a personal ministry. Titus 2, it says that, the older women are to teach the younger women and to be full of good works. And those are personal ministries. But it also says that the women are to be silent in church. So where would they be teaching? So common sense shows that women have ministries to other women that aren't in the church. So how does that reconcile with the fact that aren't we supposed to be under the authority of the church? And yes, you will see scripturally that we as individuals are under church authority. So in our description on our website, it says we are under the authority of such and such church. Because if we do something personally, we should be held accountable according to scripture. And the same thing with missionaries. They say my sending church is, and that way if there's some immorality or something that's going on with that missionary, the people who are supporting the missionary or who find out about it, they can call that missionary's pastor and say, hey, this is something that needs to be dealt with. And the pastor deals with them and that church discipline accordingly because they are under that church's authority. I would be cautious to not belong to a church and then just be traveling from church to church to church to church and say, well, this is my ministry, and yet you aren't under the authority of a church, which is actually going to lead me to the next question about my church is choosing contemporary Christian music. You can kind of see the path that they're heading. Do I leave the church? Where do I go? But ultimately, the Bible gives so much liberty that we are just supposed to minister. We're supposed to spread the gospel. What the pastor does as far as specific ministries within his church, that's just organization and preference. But each person is responsible to be ministering, but also accountable to their local church.